Hey guys, Rexasaur here, and welcome back to Total War Warhammer Lore, where today we'll be looking at who are the Lizardmen. And these last three factions, the two High Elves and the Lizardmen, I think are going to be the first expansion. I know it's like the game's not even out yet, and I'm already kind of going, oh, these are going to be the next expansions. But it's because most of them, as you can see on the left side of the map, live on the left side of the map, so it would be kind of obvious where it would become. Anyway, the Lizardmen live in a place called Lustria, which is basically Brazil, Argentina, basically most of South America, and they have a really interesting history in the lore of Warhammer because in the first few editions of the game, they were actually split into two different factions. You had the ones that were basically meant to be the old ones, and the ones that were the Lizardmen, and and then they were sort of mashed together about 10 years into the tabletop game. So we're basically what the Lizardmen are is that they are the army of the old ones. The old ones disappeared with the coming of chaos, but the Lizardmen stayed behind. But they were designed by the old ones in the sort of way of like to just be their army. So you have the priest class, which are the Slan, who are basically the mages and the leaders of the Lizardmen at this point. They are the people who have the most magic in the game. They have a lot of different powers. They are really powerful. They have a lot of buffs, and they have incredible destruction magic. In fact, the Slan in the lore can unite together to create to do one of the most powerful spells in the game. I think it's along the lines of Cataclysm of some sort, and it is incredibly powerful. But yeah, so they are like the most powerful wizards in the whole Warhammer lore, basically. Even more powerful than the High Elves, you know. Next you have the Saurus, which are the warrior class. Now the Saurus is sort of split off. You have some Saurus that are leaders, others that are generals kind of thing, and you have the others that are warriors, but basically the warrior class. They are different kinds of Sauruses. There are those who ride cold ones, just like the Dark Elves. The Lizardmen ride raptors, because, you know, why shouldn't dinosaurs ride dinosaurs, eh? I don't know either. Next you have the Skinks, and Skinks are basically like the messengers, the artisans, the kind of economical class, you know, the little villagers who live within them, and they're pretty fast. They're the kind of skirmisher units in this case, so they would be the equivalent of, say, javelin men or archers in the general list of how an army composition would be for a total war game. And then you have Croxagors, who are basically these big, muscular lizards. They are very tall. They are basically the manual labourers of the Lizardmen, and they're there to build shit. And let's have a building of what's the Lizardmen living. They live in those things. They live in those massive temples, who very much resemble the Aztecs, Mayans, Incan kind of feel, because that's what Games Workshop tried to make them feel like. You know, they're kind of Aztec. Now, before we go on into general units, I have gone through a bit of the, showing you little pictures of the units just now, but let's go into a little bit like of the story. The Warhammer, there's a thing called the End Times. So I talked about it with Chaos, with basically the Chaos coming down and defeating everything. And the Lizardmen, actually, in the lore, get absolutely decimated in the End Times. They get destroyed by the Skaven. And it turns out that the big temples turn out to be spaceships, and then they bugger off back into space. So it's very confusing. But the End Times is ridiculous. And I as soon as I read that, I sort of went, well, you know, I don't think I like the Skaven anymore. Because I really like the Lizardmen. I think they are probably, if I had a choice, they would be my second army to collect. But, you know, don't have that much money. But yeah. So the Lizardmen and the Skaven do have a very big background, and that background is basically that the Skaven tunneled, well, one group of Skaven, one clan, tunneled way too far under the sea and landed in Lustria, and it was like, what the hell are we doing here? And they disappeared. The clans had no idea where the fuck they came from. Then they returned, and they had got all these plagues and all this, they'd grown diseased and all that, and that's because Lustria is a death jungle. It's a jungle where if you go there, you will die, unless you're a resilient or a Lizardman, basically. And the Skavens, sort of, a fuckload of them died, but the ones who resisted had all these diseases inside of them, and they lived and they brewed them, and they became resilient to it. And then they came back, they were stronger than ever, and they came back and they took one of the seats of the councils themselves. And it was a big fight between the plague, basically this Skaven clan, and the Lizardmen. And that is why there's a big enmity between this one Skaven clan and the Lizardmen. And basically in the end times, this Skaven clan comes back to kill all the Lizardmen, and it's pretty awesome. But also really shit that the Lizardmen lose. I don't think they should, to be honest. Anyway, so the units. I have already gone through a lot of them. So we have things like the Slan, who are the leaders. They have magic. They're going to have really, really powerful magic. You have the Saurus Warriors, which is just the backbone of the of the army of Lizardmen. They will also have Cold One Cavalry, who basically will be the equivalent of cavalry. They have things like Temple Guard, which are like elite guardians of Slans, which is really awesome. They are incredibly powerful and usually incredibly old as well. They're the oldest warriors. But the thing is, when it comes to Lizard, the older the Lizard, the more armored it is, because the scales with time harden to become more and more protective. So having an old Lizard is quite good, actually. Next we have things like skink priests are also magicians. They have very slightly shitty spells, but I'd say shitty spells, but less powerful than Slans, which is quite easy to become because Slans are way overpowered. In the term of like a normal magician versus a Slan, the Slan will win 10 times out of 10. Now, one of the great things about lizards is that they ride lizards, and this includes things like stegodons, or pterodons, carnosaurs, these massive lizards that they're riding. And it's just like, why are you riding a lizard? You're a lizard. What? How's it? It's pretty funny, but it's pretty like damn scary as well. I mean, you have people like you have, say, your army of high elves, and you've got your dragons and your Pegasus, and then you come up against an army full of dinosaurs riding bloody massive dinosaurs, and you're there like, whoa, and then you're getting decimated by a frog on like sitting down, yeah, and you're just like, this army's just OP, just run away. But yeah, so the lizards are going to be a very interesting faction when they eventually arrive to Total War Warhammer, because they're going to be very slow moving, but they're going to be incredibly powerful, and it's really mobile units. They are going to be the ones that will take them out. Things like the flying units, dragons and stuff. Skinks are the only kind of counter to their slowness, because skinks are incredibly fast. They're incredibly like nippy. They go all over the place. They have flying units as well. They can ride on little pterosaurs, and it's a great faction. I do think that they will be a very good addition to the game when they eventually come. That said, I still haven't seen the game, so I don't know how it's going to be. This is just me being overexcited and looking way into the future, but telling you about these factions which are going to eventually arrive into the game that I hope you're all getting excited for as well. But anyway, yes, that's the Lizardmen. I hope you enjoyed this video. That will be all for today, in fact. If you're watching this in the future, then that won't really be a bother. I will be doing Skavens next, amongst other things. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this episode. Please like, comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you all next time.